Hey everybody, We'll Make Creations here, and this is G describing the Tumblestrings blocks. This is what the block looks like, and you can do it in a bunch of different ways, very scrappy or very uniformly done. It's a very versatile block, and we have made a 3-piece template set to make your life a lot easier of making these blocks. In your Tumblestrings template set, you're going to have a 9x5 that is going to be used for cutting your paper to be the foundation. A 1.5x6 is your strips, and a tumbler. So let's get started. So along with the template set, I'll be using a ruler, a marking utensil, a cutting rotary cutter, and a couple of pens. Last but not least, I'll be using a piece of drawing pad paper. You can use any type of paper you wish, but this is what I'm choosing to be the foundation for my blocks. Now, if you want, you can keep the papers on there until you're able to use the blocks for a quilt or pouches or whatever you plan on using them for. I think the paper just allows them to stack nicely and not get messed up. So that's my little tip and trick for you. All right, now I'm going to take my paper and lay my 9x5 template here. I like to use the classy turntable to do the paper cutting because the template likes to adhere to fabric a lot better than it does to paper. So I'm going to just make sure that it stays where I want it by using the turntable. Especially when you're cutting multiple papers, as you will be doing most likely, you will want to get a nice accurate cut without things sliding around. So that's that. Now you're going to line this 9x5 piece of paper up on your cutting mat, and you'll take a marking tool and measure in 3 inches from the edge, and the inch lines are the black lines on these cutting mats. So we measured in 3, and that is where our tumbler piece will get lined up to. Next, I'm going to cut out my tumbler shape. So I'm going to grab my template and some fabric and cut that out. Okay, so next I'm going to be cutting my tumbler shape. So I'm just going to grab a piece of fabric that is bigger than my template and, try to conserve fabric when I can. You can twist this with the template, or you can use your turntable, whatever makes you more comfortable. I'm gonna just cut this out. And there's my template, my tumbler template piece. And obviously, if you're gonna be making a bunch of these, you can double and triple up your fabric and cut a bunch at one time. So that's your tumbler shape. Next, you're going to cut out your 1.5x6 inch strips. You need 6 per tumbler, so you can decide what colors you want to cut out. I'm going to take this piece and double it so I can get 2 out of this one cut. And you will want to, cut according to how many strips you're doing of what. But you can absolutely cut multiples at the same time. So you're going to decide what strips you want, and you'll need 6 per block. So I've already cut out some here, and next we'll show you how to assemble the block. Okay, next you're going to get your 9x5 sheet of paper that you have already marked 3 inches in from the left, and you're going to align your tumbler with the short side up, the long side down, and that is your placement for your tumbler. So next you're gonna take a strip and put it right sides together along this side here. These strips are longer than they need to be, so just make sure you have an excess on each side. And then I'm gonna pin this in place. So I'm picking up the paper and everything and pinning that in place. And I like to pin where I can sew without removing my pins. I only do this on the first part, on the first set of strips. So I'm gonna line that one up. I'm gonna turn this around and hold that in place and pin it in place. Okay? So next, I can take this to my sewing machine and sew a 1/4 inch down each of these sides using a 2.4 stitch length. Okay, now it's time to do the 1/4 inch sewing on these two strips to get this started. So we're gonna just do a 1/4 inch sewing right here with a 2.4 stitch length. Okay. And now on the other side. Okay. Now you can take your pins out. And next you'll take it to the iron. All right, now that we have those strips done, we're gonna press them in place. We're gonna seal those stitches. Gonna flip this over and push this out. And do the same thing to the opposing side. Push it towards the side of the block there. And now you're ready for your next two pieces. All right, now I'm going to take the opposite color and go right on here. And this time I'm not going to use pins. I'm just going to hold it in place, making sure that I have extra on the top and bottom. And I'm going to sew that a 1/4 inch. Now obviously, if you have a bunch of these blocks going, you can chain piece and make it go much faster. Right now we're just doing the one block. And now we're gonna just put this other side on. Always aligning with the strip before it. And 1/4 inch with a 2.4 stitch length. All right. Cut that off. And we'll iron those open. We'll seal our stitches, push it over, do it on the other side, and we're ready for our third and final strip on either side. So here we go. It's the same thing over and over. If you're doing a lot of blocks, I suggest pinning that tumbler in the first two strips and have a big pile of them ready to go. And chain piecing is the key to making these blocks really fast. Okay. That, and we'll iron them next. Okay, so now we're ready to iron these last strips on. We're going to seal the stitches and push that over. I do want to say, in case I didn't say already, when you're adding each strip, make sure that it's right sides together. This way when you flip it over, the right side will be showing. And there's your block. Now remember, you've got excess on the back. So next we'll go to the cutting board and we will trim that down to the size of the paper. All right, now it's time to trim our block. There's the back, there's the front. So we are going to just line up. I like to use my 2.5 by 13 ruler. And I like the turntable for this as well. So I'm just going to pick my ruler back up, align it with the paper, and trim off the excess. Okay. Same thing, lining it up with the paper, trim off the excess. There's very little waste in this project, and it is a great way to use up your scraps. And it's going to be interesting to me for everyone to show their variation of this block, because you can put them this way, you can put them this way. Just line them up straight going across, maybe put a little border, however you want to do it. But there you have it. I hope you really enjoyed the Tumblestrings block, and I can't wait to see what you do with it. Please post it on Classy Quilters Group on Facebook. Peace out.